guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Homeowner Association Called Cops on Me for Using My Illegal Shooting Range. I'm not even part of the homeowner association. TLDR. I am shooting in my own backyard and a homeowner association lady wants to get involved. Calls the cops on me multiple times despite the fact I'm not part of the homeowner association or breaking any laws. I get a restraining order and end up friends with a bunch of cops who love that I have a shooting range in my backyard. So, I converted my backyard into being my own personal firing range. It isn't the biggest, and if I wanted to shoot something large like a shotgun, I would go somewhere appropriate for it. For shooting my pistol though it works perfectly, and my aim is improving. I want to make it clear that I am very safe with my guns and only point them towards the targets that I'm shooting. So, I have never had any incident that would warrant any kind of complaints. But I'm telling this story and you know that she is coming, so enter who I am going to call the homeowner association lady. I don't know if she holds any position in the homeowner association or anything. All I know is that was mentioning the homeowner association and a bunch of rules a lot while I'm not even part of the homeowner association. Homeowner association lady, young man. What do you think you are doing back here? Keep in mind I'm 35 but I recently shaved my beard and have a baby face. Also, she just waltzes into my backyard. Me. I'm shooting on my range. She looks and sees what is going on and starts screaming. Homeowner association lady. A gun, OMG, he is pointing a gun at me. Me. Stop screaming. It's pointed towards the ground and I put the safety on as soon as I saw you. Now would you please get off of my property? Homeowner association lady. I'm not going anywhere. You are clearly too young for this weapon and your parents are going to be in trouble for letting you have it. There are rules in this neighborhood about guns and shooting. Now where is your mother? I know I look a little young but thinking I'm a teenager is ridiculous. Me. I'm 35 years old and this is my house. Leave now or I am going to call the cops. I walk back into my house as I don't want to deal with this woman any longer. I hear banging and see that she is knocking on my door. I don't want to call the police and deal with that, so I just wait for her to give up and go home. About 15 minutes later I hear banging again and go to see that there are 2 cops at my door and 3 more squad cars. Cop 1. We received a call about a minor shooting a gun wildly in the backyard. Me. That was me, but I'm 35. It also wasn't wildly, it was in the shooting range I built in my backyard. Cop 1. Where is the weapon in question right now, sir? Me. It is locked in the gun safe in the garage. I can show you. I start walking towards the back with them following me while Cop 2 goes back to the car to run my ID. I show them the safe, the gun, and the shooting range where I have the used target with most of my shots being dead on. While I am explaining what happened with the lady, Cop 2 comes back to give me my ID and sees the range. Cop 2. This is cool. I'm sure a ton of guys on the force would want to come check this out. If that was alright with you, of course, sir. Me. Sure, I would be happy to let any officers come and test it out. So, I'm not in any trouble, right? Cop 1. No, everything here checks out. You are following all standards and have all your licenses up to date. They leave and I try to enjoy my peaceful life again. I keep getting reported to cops though, and when different ones show up have to explain the whole situation again. I also see that she is sneaking around and trying to take pictures of me in my backyard. Also, I keep getting homeowner association fines and warnings in my mailbox which I just rip up because I am not part of their stupid homeowner association. During one visit Cop 1 is back and tells me that if she is sneaking around trying to take pictures and since they can prove it's her calling the police every time, I can get a restraining order. I smile wide when I hear there is something that can be done and file to get it done. By now I have half the police precinct already on my side and they are able to get her to give the pictures that she took of me. Between that, the phone records, and the accounts from various officers, I was easily given a restraining order and now she had to stay away from me. That revenge didn't seem quite satisfying enough though, so decided that I needed to turn the rest of the neighborhood against her as well. Now I'm not much of a party person, but I wanted this to be the best party anyone was talking about for a long time. I put a lot of time and more money than I want to admit into making this the best party even. Then I invited everyone in the neighborhood except for the homeowner association lady of course and waited for the night to begin. More people than I thought actually showed up and it proved that she was in the minority when it came to my shooting range. The music was blasting and those with permits and not drinking were allowed to go out back and shoot on the range. Even some of my new friends at the precinct dropped by to hang out for a while and shoot. The icing on the cake was that when neighbors were asking why homeowner association lady couldn't come, I had to issues with telling them exactly why she wasn't there. I wouldn't have been shocked if she called the cops for noise complaints only to be ignored because they all knew her and calling the cops on me. Now she isn't allowed at any neighborhood event if I am in attendance. I decided to even go to some of the homeowner association meetings pretending to be interested in joining just so she could walk in, see me, and be forced to turn around and walk out. I am still shooting in my backyard and have a bunch of new cop buddies that love coming over to hang out and use it as well. I don't know if anyone else tried calling them about my shooting range, but they all know me and that it's fine by now. I went from being kind of a loner in my neighborhood to being one of the guys everyone wanted to be friends with and hang out with. So many people here have permits for pistols and nowhere safe to practice shooting. I am more than happy to oblige as a friendly neighbor and knowing that the more gunshots homeowner association lady hears and can't do anything about the better, I feel. I'm thinking of having another party soon. This one where everyone brings their own guns, and we see who is the most accurate. I'm sure that she would love that as well. Let me know what you think about that idea and if anything exciting happens with that at the homeowner association lady I will be sure to tell you guys. The next story is titled, I'm being sued for a car accident that my brother caused while driving my car, but my brother has never driven my car. Pennsylvania. 2 days before Thanksgiving, I got served with a lawsuit claiming that around a year and a half ago, my brother rear-ended someone while he was using my car. The person he hit is now suing for medical expenses and lost wages. It says they want less than $50,000 but not exactly how much. It also says that my brother appeared impaired and that I was negligent for letting him borrow my car. There's no mention of the police being called or anything, but since I've never been sued before I don't know if it would say if they had been. My brother was a heroin addict. He died a few months after this accident in another car accident where he nodded out behind the wheel. I hadn't seen or spoken to him in nearly 2 years before that. I never let him borrow my car. I know my husband would have never let him borrow it. It was never stolen, and he couldn't have had access to my keys and just taken it without asking. I doubt he even knew where I was living at the time this happened, because we had only just bought our house. My guess is that he was in an accident in a friend's car or a stolen car and just told the person that it was his sister's. The lawsuit says it was a blue Toyota Camry, which is what I drive. But there are a million blue Toyota Camrys on the road, so that could be a coincidence. I already called my insurance and explained the situation to them. They said that one of their lawyers will get in touch with me, but not until Monday or Tuesday because of the holiday, so I've just been Googling liability and negligent entrustment and making myself crazy. My understanding is that it's hard to prove that you didn't willingly loan out your car if it's a friend or family member who was driving it, but I can't really find much about my specific situation. I'm really starting to worry that I'm going to lose. Does it seem like I have a real chance of proving that it wasn't my car in the accident? Could it be possible that there's a police report proving that the car was registered to someone else, and they filed the lawsuit before double-checking, or is that something a lawyer would make sure of beforehand? Also, if this lady didn't call the police even though she thought my brother was driving around high, would that have any bearing on anything? Any help or advice would be much appreciated. I have no idea what to expect here and I can't stop imagining all the ways this could turn out terrible. Update. The lawsuit has been dropped. The official notice arrived this Thursday. My lawyer told me that the plaintiff has a little time left to refile the lawsuit if she wants, but she doesn't think it'll go anywhere if she does. It turns out the woman suing was one of my brother's ex-girlfriends. My guess is that he owed her money and died before she could collect. She was claiming that the police were called and there should be a report, but the police department in the town say they have no record of the accident. She also didn't go to the or her PCP until almost 6 months after the accident supposedly happened, so it's hard to say if it was really the cause of her injuries, bulging lumbar discs. Thank you to everyone who replied to the original thread. You really gave me good advice and made me feel much better about this whole thing. I'm so glad to be putting this behind me. The next story is titled, Apartment had my car towed for not driving it enough. Ever since COVID I started working from home. Because of that I rarely have a need to drive my car any longer. I drive it about once a month to make sure it's all running good and park it back in the same spot. My landlord sent me an email Friday saying I need to drive my car more or they will tow it, or I could pay an extra $100 a month for a garage and leave my car in there. Extortion? I said that sounds ridiculous, but I will move it to a different spot once the snow clears. Recently heavy snow in Colorado, if that's the issue. Waking up Sunday, before the snow had even cleared, my car is gone. I've messaged the apartment complex and a lawyer, but it's Sunday so neither are open. Note: my car works, is registered, licensed, and insured, has a parking permit for the lot, was parking in the correct spot. I've been a resident here for 2 years without issue before. New managers. Is this predatory towing as well as some other things? Possibly extortion for offering to not tow my car if I paid for a garage, but then having it towed when I refused. Can they legally request I drive the car more often? This sounds some like form of discrimination just because I don't work a normal job. Update. I contacted the landlords, quoted the lease and Colorado abandoned car laws, threatened to take the case to small claims, but that I would prefer to settle it if they had my car towed back to my apartment complex instead of me going to get it and paying the fees for it being released. They agreed and apologized. My car was back in the same spot they towed it from by 2 p.m. today. Thank you all for the advice and support. Never give up or give in if you think you've been wronged. The last story is titled, SWAT team broke into house at 5 a.m. and now I'm getting evicted. Yesterday morning at about 5 a.m. the SWAT team kicked down the door of my apartment. They were looking for my ex-boyfriend who I no longer have contact with, and guns. They found neither him, guns, or drugs and they left. They found him at his mother's house where he had been staying the whole time since we broke up. They caused $900 in damages and now my leasing office is telling me they want me to turn in a letter saying I will leave in 30 days. I just moved in mid-November. All this had absolutely nothing to do with me. The police said that their insurance will most likely pay for damages. I called and they said someone from the insurance department should contact me on 2 to 3 days. Is this true, and if it is, how long does it take for them to pay the damages? What are my options? Highly upset and not a good start to the new year. Edit. Hey guys, thanks for all your replies. I'm sorry I couldn't edit earlier, but I've had a long day fixing the place back together. A few things I wanted to add for clarity. 1. My ex was never on the lease. He stayed over about 2 to 3 nights a week until we broke up a month ago. 2. I never had a clue what he was up to, which the police quickly figured out. No charges were ever pressed against me, nor was I found to have been doing anything illegal inside the home. 3. The leasing office told me the property manager is going to give me a chance not to ruin my rental history and allow me to write my own letter stating I will vacate the premises within 30 days. When I asked if I have a deadline, the lady only replied, "The sooner the better." This is the first time I've ever lived on my own, so I don't know how things work. Do I believe this, or are they just trying to get me to leave? Also, they said any money I give them will not be applied to rent but to the outstanding balance of $900. It's all due by the 10th. Is this even legal? 4. The police station told me I need to tell the leasing office to contact them since I do not own the property. They need to file a claim with the police insurance. What if my apartment refuses, saying I'm responsible? 5. I looked over my lease and it says I am not permitted to disturb the peace or permit any of my occupants/visitors to do so. I feel like I did not disturb the peace. It was the SWAT team, and they were not invited, nor did I permit them to do anything they did. 6. This happened in Silver Spring, Maryland. I'm going to walk over to the leasing office soon to discuss this and will update as soon as I can. Thanks guys again. All advice is welcome. Update. So, since I posted originally, I won a small victory. I convinced the property manager not to evict me. This is largely due to me getting into contact with someone from corporate and then the director of the corporation calling the property manager while she was on vacation to discuss the matter. However, the agent from the police insurance called me yesterday to inform me the police will not be paying for damages to the door, even though they did not follow protocol by contacting the property manager to give them the key to the door to prevent property damage. Also, the fact that I had nothing to do with the investigation and nothing they were looking for was inside the home, guns, drugs, etc. And the fact my ex-boyfriend wasn't found there or even living there to begin with did not matter because they had a signed warrant and had the right address. That's it. That's all they base their decision on. So now I am working with the ACLU, whom I've contacted at the advice from a different Redditor from the original post. We will see where this goes. If the ACLU decides I have a case, then great. Otherwise I have decided to sue the police department in civil court, but I don't know if that is an option. Will give my last and final update when the dust settles. Thanks for listening.